we're all loving scarves these days. I love to see it. Welcome to another episode of Wonder and Create with Emma. I am Emma. I design knit and crochet patterns that are portable projects to take with you on your travels, as well as garments you can wear on your travels. Today I'm doing another pattern roundup episode, and this time the theme is going to be fall patterns. Knitting and crochet patterns that will make the perfect autumnal project that are also going to be using up your leftover yarn. As you may already know, this year in 2025 I've been on a mission to use up all the yarn in my stash. So as I've been looking for patterns to inspire me to use the yarn I have in my stash, I'm sharing what I find with you. So I'm going to be going through 16 patterns that I've found from browsing Ravelry and Pinterest that I think make great leftover yarn projects and are perfect for the upcoming fall season. So if you're feeling in the mood, grab your favourite cozy hot drink, grab your project, and we'll get started. I'm not gonna lie, as it's still August when I'm recording this, I wanted to get ahead of the curve and find some things that I want to make for fall or during fall. As it's hot and sunny outside, I'm not quite ready to get my head in the fall season, even though the thought of the cool evenings, snuggling up with a blanket, watching comfort TV with my knitting or crochet is enticing. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm looking forward to what I could be making then. As per usual, the patterns that I have found, I've kind of grouped into vague categories, so you can bear with me, they're pretty loose. And the categories I have for today's videos are garments or clothing, home decor, other accessories, and then I've made my own little category for pumpkins. There were so many pumpkin themed patterns when I was doing research for this, I thought why not make it its own category so you can look forward to that coming up. And to talk about how I selected the patterns for this, when I was looking through Ravelry, I was searching either specifically for like fall knitting and crochet patterns to see what came up. That is where I kind of saw a lot of pumpkin themes because that is a very like fall theme. And then I was also looking for garments that were either knit with a slightly lighter weight yarn than an Aran, so like a DK or a Sport, or like a lighter yarn, like a fingering weight, but it's like long sleeve. So that idea that you're transitioning seasons, you might want a longer sleeve, but you don't want anything too warm just yet. That's what I had in mind with the clothing. And then I have home decor because I think fall and autumn, I'm from the UK, I say autumn, but I'm very much getting used to saying fall while I'm here in Canada. But fall is when you start to get cozy, you're indoors a bit more, the evenings are getting darker, you can maybe light the fire if you have one, and you want a nice blanket or some nice like soft furnishings to really make you feel nice and settled. And obviously when it comes to leftover yarn, I'm always looking at the patterns not just with that fall theme in mind, but also is there an opportunity here to be able to use lots of those like smaller balls of yarn you have left in your stash from finished projects, or those one skeins that you may have bought and not found a use for yet. So when I'm looking at patterns, I'm also trying to keep that in mind. So you will see some common styles of patterns. It could be stripy, it could be smaller projects, it could be colour work. Like they're the kind of things I have in my mind when I'm looking for patterns that are not just fall themed, but would be using your leftover yarn, because that's what I'm here for, especially this year. So to get started, I'm going to be going into garments and clothing. So I'm covering both knit and crochet patterns. And when I'm looking at garments and clothing, I am looking for size inclusive patterns. I haven't necessarily tested or used any of these patterns before. In fact, almost all of these patterns I have not done before, or I have not even heard of the designer before. They're just what I've seen, and from what I can tell in the descriptions that are on Ravelry, they look like they'd be a good project. I also include the cost of the pattern if it is a paid for pattern, and I put it in Canadian currency, and some of it is a bit rounding where I round it to like the nearest dollar where it may be have converted to like $11.87. I just round it up to 12 just so you know where I'm at. But I have all the links to all the patterns I'm going to talk about over on my blog on my website, so if you want all the specific links you can find them. I'll put the link to the blog in the description of this video. I have named all the patterns and the designers in the description below as well, but if you want the links, you can head over to my website. I also have a favourites bundle on Ravelry of all the fall stash busting patterns, so you can head to my Ravelry if you use Ravelry, and there you'll also be able to see my other themed bundles, including summer and spring patterns. I have travel friendly projects there too, so go check it out if you're interested for a bit more inspiration. Okay, anyway, clothing. So I'm starting with a crochet pattern, and that is the Sea Glass Tee by Wool and Pine Design. I am very confident that I have included a sea glass pattern by Wool and Pine in one of my other videos, either the cardigan or the knitted tee. I'm a big fan of Wool and Pine designs because they have very much design stuff with stash busting in mind. I have yet to knit or crochet any of their patterns, I must confess, but I did not know that there was a crochet version of the sea glass design until I was researching for this video, and I was very happy to see it. It's crocheted using a fingering weight yarn and covers a 68-inch to a 32-inch bust, including the positive ease that this tee is designed with. And it's just another wool and pattern design on my Wool and Pine design to make list, I suppose. Next up is the Jethro cardigan by Tanis Fibre Arts. Now this pattern is crochet and knitting combined. I love to see it. You don't see many patterns like that, so I love it. Even more, it's granny square, and I love a granny square. It's got granny square front and back panels, and then the sleeves and the edging and the button bands knitted. Incredible. The pattern is 13 Canadian dollars, and as I've said before, I think granny squares are the perfect way to use up leftover yarn. You can get really creative with each round of the square and using different colours. This one uses DK weight yarn, and I just think it'd be a really fun project to try. As I said, I love the kind of idea of knitting and crochet combined together. I've designed it once for a pattern. It was actually the first pattern that I designed and published. The Lonsdale hat, which has a crochet brim, and then the rest is a knitted hat, so go check that out as well if you're curious to combine knitting and crochet. But yeah, really loved this. Really loved it when I discovered that the sleeves were knit and not crochet. Such a fun idea. Next up is another cardigan, the Guatemala cardigan by West Knits, Stephen West Knits. It's a knitted pattern at around 12 Canadian dollars. It's a garter stitch pattern worked top down, so you can knit this cardigan to any length that you like. The designer, Stephen West, has held 2 strands of fingering weight together to make a DK weight, but I guess you could also just incorporate DK weight yarn into it. I really love a garter stitch design when it comes to stash busting. I see it a lot, but I think it gives a really fun texture to what is already quite a fun design. And the description itself says that he designed this pattern in order to show off all your fingering weight yarn. So what more can you want from a stash busting pattern like that? And then finally for garments, I have the Stripe Hype dress by Koot Vakika. It's a knitted dress and the pattern is 12 Canadian dollars. She uses 7 different colours for her dress. You could use more, you could use less. Obviously I've included it because it's stripy and it gives you an opportunity to be using up different skeins of yarn that you have in your stash. This is a DK weight, and I do think that the style of this dress is very much for those transitional seasons. The long sleeve, the longer length is very much like aimed at cooler weather rather than the height of summer. Again, it is size inclusive. It's just a simple stockinette stitch in the round, so I think it could be quite a beginner friendly knitted pattern. It is knit with 3mm needles, so it may take a while to knit this project. So if you're interested in knitting it, you might want to get started now so you're ready for when fall hits, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, that is. And having just finished knitting one of her patterns, the Sailor Swift top, I can confirm that she has very well written and designed patterns. Moving on to our next category, and that is home decor. I don't know if any of you out there have particular home decor that you bring out for different seasons. I don't traditionally, but having a look for this at all the patterns available, I might start doing it in some scenarios. So first up in my home decor category are these fall jar covers by Highland Hickory Designs. It's 4 Canadian dollars for the pattern, but it is also available as a free pattern on their blog. This is a crochet pattern, and they're just rectangular strips with the letters worked into the pattern. When I say that I thought I might start having themed home decor for the different seasons, I think this one is the one that's made me start thinking that. I just think it's the prettiest design. I mean, obviously the way it has been set up to be photographed really makes it, with the mason jars and the pretty autumnal flowers in the jar. It just looks so lovely with the colours that the designer has chosen. This pattern uses an Aran weight cotton yarn. I think you could probably use a different fibre if you want. I don't think about it as too much. And as I say, it's just a rectangle with the letter in the middle of that rectangle, so a pretty straightforward design, I should think. Next up, I have a cushion cover, and this is by Laughing Purple Hen. Now, this one caught my eye based on the image because it looks like a woven sort of style cushion cover. But when I was looking through, and the pattern itself is extremely basic. It's a blog post on their website more documenting the knitter's kind of project to make this cushion cover. She has a very basic pattern, but I think that's because it is a fairly basic pattern to do. You just need to have the measurement of your cushion. Basically, this pattern used 13 different colour yarns, so great for the old stash busting. And it's just one rectangle folded in half, and then this person has added a zipper in to join it together, but you could just seam it out. I think the zipper is just for easy removable purposes if it's needing a wash. The knitter describes that they used a moss stitch for this pattern, and they changed colour every single row. And because they didn't like to weave in ends, someone after my own heart, they have those kind of tassel looked edging, which is where the weaves, where the end of the yarn could be woven in, but they've chosen to leave them be and made that a design feature for this cushion cover. And I just think with this one, even if you don't necessarily like the combinations of the cushion cover pictured here, you can use whatever colour combinations you have in your stash, and it can be very themed to yourself, to the seasons. There's a lot of fun to be had, and I think this would be a nice kind of meditative pattern to do if you didn't want to think too much. It's just one particular stitch pattern, the moss stitch, and you're just going back and forth making a rectangle. And sticking with the cushion cover, I do have a crochet pattern that I found, and that is the all-in-one cushion cover by the Nest blog. So this is another free pattern, and it's also really just a blog, very straightforward pattern again. It is a cushion cover made from just one big granny square. This person used a fingering weight cotton yarn. They just made the square big enough. They then folded the corners up around the cushion and seamed it together to make this cover. Very fun, and again, because it's a granny square, you can be changing colours all the time, and you can pick kind of fall colours to make it a very autumnal themed cushion. And then finally for home decor, I have a blanket, and that is the Fall Horizons throw blanket by Mama in a Stitch. This is a knitted pattern, and it's another free pattern. As you can see, this blanket is kind of a wavy striped style blanket design, and it uses 7 different colours. So again, if you have lots of single skeins of yarn, you could use this pattern for that. This one is designed with a bulky weight yarn, but I did notice in the description it says that it can be adjusted for sizing, so perhaps you can also change for weight or just hold multiple strands of other lighter weight yarns together to create that bulkier weight yarn. And I just think it looks perfect for cozying up under as the cooler evenings draw in. Okay, next category, and that category is accessories. So by accessories, I mean things that you add to your outfit, from bags to socks, not strictly accessory I suppose, to other items that you might want in the fall season as it is starting to get a bit cooler. So I am starting with one of my own designs, and that is the Journey cowl. So this is a one skein project. It's part of a series of patterns called the Journey, and these patterns in that collection were designed to be simple meditative stitches that are portable for you to take on your travels and not have to pay too much attention to. And it is a one skein project, and this cowl is knit with a DK weight yarn, so it's a lighter weight yarn, perfect for when it's not completely freezing yet but you just want a little coverage around your neck. As I say, it's a very easy pattern stitch repeat, so another great project for a beginner knitter who's looking to make their first project in the round. I've made 3 of these, and it's just super easy and nice to take out and about with you and knit, and then also use once you're finished. Keeping on the neck warmer theme, I have a fun little scarf for us because we're all loving scarves these days. This one is slightly bigger than the smaller Sophie scarf style, and it's called Autumn Comes by Maliaha Designs. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. It's another knitted pattern and is around $9 Canadian. This pattern uses a fingering weight and lace weight yarn held together to make a DK weight. This one in particular I thought just looked so squishy and cozy, but it's still kind of lightweight enough for the autumn season. I keep saying autumn and fall a lot, understandably in this video, but it feels like I'm saying it 100 million times, so apologies if it's annoying you. But this is the theme of the day. I think I did like the slightly bigger size in this. It's slightly different than all those other kind of Sophie style similar scarves. it sort of looks like, in the nicest possible way because I love it, it looks like bunny ears. Like it's just that kind of rounded, slightly wider look. I don't know, I thought it looked great. This is another one skein project, and the description does also imply that you can adjust for size and yarn weight, so that's great for using up other yarns that you may have in your stash. And now I have a bag pattern, the Retro Stripe Tote Bag by Lovable Loops Crochet. This is a crochet bag design and the pattern is free from their website. I just thought it was a colourful stripy tote, and obviously you can make it full themed using particular colours that you may have in your stash, or just any old colour you can throw in there. You could make every single stripe a different colour. Like it's something, one of those designs I think you can really just play around with and make it your own. And then finally for this category, I'm finishing with some socks. The Confiture Shorty socks, which I believe Confiture, if I'm pronouncing that right, is French for jam. Apologies to anyone that can speak French and I have like butchered that. I'm so sorry. But I thought, as it is berry picking season, these berry themed socks were speaking to me. They're knit with a fingering weight yarn, and obviously the colour work there gives an opportunity to use lots of different colours you may have in your stash. In the description of this pattern, it does profess to be a good intro to colour work. So if you're new to colour work, this could be the pattern for you to like dip your toe in and try out. And that marks the end of my accessories category. So now we move on to our final category, which is pumpkins. So as I mentioned, there were lots of different patterns that fit under pumpkins. There were just so many pumpkin themes, which I totally understand, especially having lived in North America for 7 years. Wow, you guys love a pumpkin patch. And I do believe it's now taking hold in the UK. So I have 4 patterns fitting under the pumpkin theme, and that's how we'll round out this video. So to start with, we'll start with like actual pumpkin patterns themselves. I found this pattern collection from Fit Food Art of knitted pumpkins and mushrooms. The collection is 14 Canadian dollars, but with that you do get 7 different patterns, some mushrooms, some pumpkins. The description says a bulky weight yarn, but they also note that each design comes with instructions for how to make them in different sizes with different yarn weights. So I really feel like you're going to be getting a lot of detailed information in this pattern collection, so probably well worth the $14. So these are some household patterns that would obviously make great stash busters. And not to leave us crocheters out, I did find some crochet pumpkins for us too. There are so many out there. I really encourage you, if you don't like the ones I'm including in here, go onto Ravelry, go onto Pinterest, look for crochet pumpkins, knitted pumpkins. You're gonna find hundreds of patterns. There's so many out there. But I really liked these Fool for Granny pumpkins by MJ Off the Hooks Designs because of that granny stitch. Slightly different to the other patterns I was seeing. And again, with my like leftover yarn perspective, as I've said multiple times, the granny stitch, the granny square, it's allowing you to change yarn quite easily all the time. And it can give you like a quite unique household decor of pumpkins. These pumpkins are crocheted with an Aran weight yarn, and the pattern contains instructions to make 3 different sizes of pumpkins. So go have fun with it. Oh, and that pattern is 9 Canadian dollars, I forgot to say. And then for knitters who truly love their pumpkin spice latte season, I saw these pumpkin spice latte mittens from Skein Deer Knits. It's 12 Canadian dollars, knit with a fingering weight yarn. Obviously, ideally, you might have a pumpkin colour yarn in your stash, but if you look at the projects that are on Ravelry, you'll see other colour combinations work just as well. The mittens themselves are designed in multiple sizes from pre-teen to adult XL. They look super cozy. I've never really knit mittens before, let alone colourwork mittens, but I think these are super fun, and if you have a pumpkin spice latte lover in your life, perhaps you might consider these as a gift knit for them. And then finally, my last pattern of the category and of this video are the Pumpkin Patch Socks by Carolyn G. They're 5 Canadian dollars. It is a knitted pattern, and I just thought pumpkin patches are the vibe of fall. Why not make some socks on that theme? Maybe even wear them to the pumpkin patch. Again, it's a colourwork sock, so you can use different colours, combining them. Obviously it has the pumpkins around the band at the top, but you could mix it up. And the pattern has instructions for adjusting the length of the calf and the foot. So there you have it. I hope I've inspired you to dive into your stash for this upcoming fall. Tell me which pattern that you like the look of most in this video and what you may be casting on yourself this fall. If you've been working through your stash this year, let me know how you're getting on. I've just done my 6-month check-in back at the end of June. I'll be doing another one at the end of December. And seeing how we've got heading into the new year, I mean, I can't believe we're only a few months off that, to be honest, but let's not think about that just now. Let's enjoy the rest of the summer and prepare ourselves for the fall season and all the cozy knitting and crochet that is to come. Thank you for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it and hit subscribe if you don't already so you don't miss future episodes from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll join you again soon. Happy knitting and crocheting.